You'll often see in Jiu-Jitsu 101, we'll have Giancarlo as the person receiving the technique, so he stands square, and we'll have an opponent comes out, takes a collar tie, and then just throws his body and locks his guard around his opponent like so. Okay, so that would be the static version of the move. Good, come back up. Now this time he splits his stance, comes out, takes his collar tie, and then he takes a step forward with his right foot and now throws his body onto his opponent and catches. Okay, very good. Now, thanks guys. When you first see this move, there's probably a bunch of questions going through your mind. First, why would anyone do this move? On the face of it, if you showed someone from another martial art that this was a standard method of opening combat in Jiu-Jitsu, they'd probably be rather curious because the move doesn't seem to have any combat value. And I agree with that. It's a move which is completely artificial. It's designed to give you the security of a closed guard, which is many Jiu-Jitsu players find to be a desirable position in grappling. It doesn't have any real combat value outside of pure grappling. When you see it in this basic form, it looks pretty safe, right? I mean, you jump onto the guy's hip, what could possibly go wrong? Well, let's have a look at exactly what can go wrong. The problem is that when you leave the ground and start flying through the air, you've made a calculation as to where his hips are when you land. But of course, when you drill, this man is static. When you're in competition, he's never static, he's moving. In addition, it's rare that the guy be standing square. Typically, most people stand in a staggered stance. So when you go to jump, there's a real danger that you won't land square on the guy's hips. You will land instead on mid-thigh. 100% of his body weight jumping onto mid-thigh will straighten the leg. Then the mat functions as a stopper on his ankle. The toes come up, and now all the weight presses down. Let's do an experiment, Giancarlo. When I push down, go to pick your foot up off the mat. It's very, very hard. Okay, if you stand behind him, just put your hands on his back so Giancarlo doesn't fall over. If a significant amount of weight is put on your thigh and you got to pick your foot off the ground, you'll never do it. Okay, and I'm not putting all my weight on, I'm just basically just leaning forward. Okay, that's exactly what happens in the flying guard pull. From here, all of his weight lands on the hip, locks out the leg, and the closer the hips land to the knee, the more it becomes a perfect knee bar. But this is not a knee bar where you're just pulling with your hands and back. This is a knee bar with 100% of his body weight accelerating at 9.8 meters per second squared onto the thigh. The result is you get a knee bar that will massively exceed in power and delivery any knee bar performed by the strongest Jiu-Jitsu athlete. And unlike a knee bar, which is performed over time, it's almost instantaneous. So the transfer of force onto the leg is many times more than the most powerful knee bar. And the result are absolutely horrific injuries. These injuries usually are to the knee. In extreme cases, you'll even see them to the hip and ankle as well. Now, this becomes more and more of a problem as the athletes get into more and more of a dynamic situation. Very often, one athlete will try to step out as someone goes to pull guard, and that's when he's made his calculation that he wants to land here. But as the distance changes between them and he steps back, now he lands here. And this is all happening in seconds. Okay, people jump and it's done. Thank you, guys.